Really delighted if you would, I would be really delighted if you would sit down. No, I am really happy to be able to introduce Adrianne Furniss to present the Benton Awards for Digital Equity Championship. And Adrianne will let you know that we have something special this year for the first time. And I just want to mention that the award is named for Charles Benton, who's Adrianne's father. He founded the Benton Foundation, of which Adrianne is now chair? Executive director. And yes, there is a difference. And Charles, I knew Charles, which was really a privilege. He was a man, and I think he really embodied the spirit of what happens here at this conference. He was really passionate. He was totally committed. He was so warm that if you met him, you would never forget him. And just a personality who really made a difference very early on in looking at issues of digital equity and digital inclusion and fairness in media. So it's with great pleasure that I introduce Adrianne Furniss.
Actually, before I begin, I just want to say Charles was a huge fan of Laura Breeden's. And so always used to say to me when Laura was at the NTIA, I always do, I have to go to the T, he always had Laura and several of her other female compatriots that he just felt, well, they're now called the deep state, that were actually trying to move the needle, underneath the political layer. And Laura's one of those people, and it's wonderful that she is the chair of at the NDIA board. So I always start this by, first of all, thanking Angela and her team for putting on a great conference, and I think we should all give the team really a good round of applause. And I want to say, because I was a panelist, running a panel, that this year I really appreciated that Marianne Van Cura really helped all of us get our shit together, and urged us along with, have your call and do all that stuff. So wherever you are, Marianne, if you're here, I really appreciate that you were there lighting the fire. So this is my fourth year up here, and I do want to thank you all for allowing us to honor people in this community. So I'm going to start by saying that the city of Charlotte's namesake, Charlotte of Mecklenburg-Strelitz, not sure I pronounced that right, but there you go, was Queen of Great Britain at the time of the U.S. Revolution. So therefore it seems appropriate to revisit the Queen City and celebrate the people and the organizations who are ensuring that this digital revolution benefits everyone. This is the fourth time, as I said, that I've stood up here, and that NDIA and Benton have teamed up to present the Charles Benton Digital Equity Champion Award. This is also the first time that we've been smart enough to realize that just one awardee per year is not enough to recognize all the great work that is being done around the country. So I am going to mention the two people. I'm going to talk a little bit about them, and then we're going to bring them up, and you'll hear from them, and we'll give them their loot, which actually I'm really happy that Laura's done something original this year. So this year we are awarding PCs for People CEO Casey Sorensen. And San Antonio Housing Authority Digital Inclusion Program Manager, Munirih Jester. I'm gonna get it wrong. I will only say one other funny thing, which is, of course, I looked at the way her name was spelled and went up to her and said, please help me pronounce. And this is after calling Amy saying Emmy last year, completely wrong, so I learned my lesson. So I should disclose up front that I am a huge Casey Sorensen fan, and I sit on the board for PCs for People. But I had no say in picking the winners this year, so I think of this as an independent confirmation and not insider trading. Casey is a star in our field, and over the last 11 years, he has crafted a self-sustainable and scalable social enterprise that is positioned as a national leader in digital inclusion. Under his leadership, PCs for People has grown from concept to a network of 300 nonprofits, 12 affiliates and physical offices in Denver, Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Cleveland. Not in that order, sorry. And all those affiliates and nonprofits and employees are working together to solve the digital divide. So the result is over 250,000 people with home computers and 128,000 people with the ability to access affordable internet from home. So PCs for People works with individuals below the 200% federal poverty level to provide internet, computing devices, training, and ongoing support. And the average family of 3 is living on $14,000 per year. So at this income level, most families clearly are not able to afford or maintain a computer and an internet connection. And even in 2018, 60% of the recipients had never actually owned a computer, and 58% reported that they were unemployed. So that's a lot of lives touched, and a lot of families improved, and a lot of communities strengthened. So I'm really proud of you, Casey. I can say that as a board member, and it's a real champion for you and your work here. Now, my second awardee is someone that I just met for the first time, and I've been hearing all about her, even though she doesn't know this yet, because I was privileged to have dinner last night with Jordana Barton, another person in this field who I think is thinking out of the box, and she's talked about you, and Catherine Crago has also spoken about you, so you have some cheerleaders in this, and you are the Digital Inclusion Connecthome Coordinator for the San Antonio Housing Authority. So you're serving families that earn less than $12,000 a year. And in her role as Connecthome Coordinator, she's been able to deliver digital literacy skills training to nearly 2,000 participants, to award nearly 900 free computers, and to help connect 1,069 homes to the internet. Now, I love the nominee who clearly, she had several people nominating her, was very specific about that 1,069, so I felt like I had to give that its due. Munirih hires local housing authority residents as digital ambassadors, demonstrating how digital inclusion initiatives can themselves be inclusive of those who are working to get out of poverty. And she's developed a digital literacy training program that allows residents to complete training at a variety of locations, not just one central location, which of course makes that easier for the people who are benefiting. And I've been told she's even tapped into the power of the sun to generate free Wi-Fi networks. So Munirih's award comes from a recognition that there are young, emerging digital inclusion leaders that we must celebrate and emulate now. So, in this digital revolution, innovation comes from Minnesota and Texas by two people whose bright ideas were generated from necessity. And we are at Net Inclusion both to celebrate those innovations and to add to them. So please help me congratulate two true revolutionaries, Munirih Jester and Casey Sorensen. Thank you. Yeah, I agree. Okay, face this way.
Oh my
We
gosh.
got so many people. This is wonderful. So what's great, what you're not seeing, is that Laura actually found some beautiful North Carolina pottery. So instead of yet another plastic award that goes up on a bookshelf, you actually are going to get to use that, which I think is just wonderful.
Thank you.
Okay, and Casey. Come on up here. You can stand on that side. There you go. Thanks.
Perfect.
There we go. Thank you all. So I think each of you get to speak. Would you like to go first? Ladies first, right?
Somebody told me like Casey is gonna be so polite and he's gonna say ladies first and let you speak first. And I was like, I hope he's not gonna do that, but he always so nice. So I get to share a little bit about myself, which is I find challenging because I love this work and I have the privilege and the honor to work with amazing people that's really willing to jump on a phone call. Angela, do you have a minute right now? We need to talk. Tina, like I want to run something by you, and really just having, like a lot of you guys in the room, just having that resource and having people behind you that's really empowering and really challenging you and empowering you to be daring and be innovative. So I think that's one of the main things I really enjoy about this community. It's really the freedom to just try something new and see what what we can come up with. So I'm sure you guys notice I have a little accent. So if you're wondering, I'm from Brazil, and growing up in Brazil, just a quick story. My parents have really the idea of community building and serving a community. It was very vivid in my household. So my mom, she gathered all the moms and they founded a nonprofit. It was a child care center that provided free child care and food to 250 kids at some point. And became a literacy center and became an activity center. So she really worked with the community and leveraged the resources of the community to truly build this organization. And my dad, he built a community radio from scratch because access to information was a problem. I remember growing up, it's just like people don't know when the best deals are happening. People don't know, they don't have access to books. And I remember we're the only household that had books in our neighborhood. And my dad would read books on the radio, on this community radio. And when I talk a community radio, I mean community radio that had speaker phones and light poles. He would have his bike and he had a light pole and he put a speaker here and there, and it was his little community network. So I share that because early on my parents really inspired me and taught me that being alive is to be part of a community, and when you're part of a community, you have a role to play. And that's what I feel about in working in the field of digital inclusion, is that we all have a role to play. And I remember calling Angela, putting the first Digital Inclusion Summit in San Antonio. I'm like, why me? I'm just from Brazil, and why should I be doing this? Why should I be trying to get people together to build the alliance? Or why, there's other amazing people, great people, and that have been doing work much longer in San Antonio. But then I remember my parents saying, you have a role to play. So that's what I want to share with you. We all have a role to play, regardless of our background, education, and origin. So thank you so much to the Benton Foundation and all the friends that nominated me. I really feel truly blessed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Adrianne. We're honored to have you on the board and know that there wasn't any insider trading involved here. It's also amazing to hear everyone's personal story and why they're involved. And My mom, as a secretary of the local school in middle of nowhere, Montana, saved up for a full year and got me an IBM 486 and a DOS for Dummies book. And little me put me down in front of a book I might turn away, but that DOS for Dummies book, read it cover to cover, and knew that day, I wanted a career in IT. And it's why today, 11 years at PCs for People, I'm involved every day to give out more and more computers to 9-year-old boys, girls, and anyone who needs them across the US. So amazing to hear everyone's stories like that. When I have a few minutes at a podium like this, I like to ask one simple question for context. So from the audience here, think about what year you first sent an email. Who in the room has the oldest year? Shout it out. we have a winner. It was fun asking that in DC, where kind of the birth ARPANET and what happened there, and there was someone in the room one time that said 1969. I said, you are a winner. You're also a winner. But it gives some good context when you think about something so simple and what that means for your job opportunities, that you have sent emails for 25, 30, 40 years, and the people coming into our organization have never sent an email before. So what does that mean for them? The other thing I would like to share is every year when I leave NDIA, I think of a concept, one of many. And I'll explain what that means. Now, 11 years ago, I launched PCs for People and felt like one individual swimming upstream alone. I had 400 computers and they were gone in 2 weeks. In 2 months, we had a 1,200 family waiting list. So I wrote grants. Grants were denied. I talked with the CIO of a Fortune 100, and he said, everyone can afford a computer. Why do you exist? So I kept at it alone. And in our self-contained PCs for People bubble, things slowly changed. Now to having an amazing staff of 65 dedicated people trying to lead a nation distributing computers, but what kind of a nation industry can you lead with 65 people? It shows the fragmented nature of what we do, and also how big of an impact you can have dedicating to something. Well, I've also seen doing this, transitioning from one organization to a network of amazing organizations like NDIA and after. I'm excited and honored to be part of this group and receive this award. So this year, like every year, I'll leave energized to be part of a great group of people, one of many, not just me struggling, but one of many working across the US, everyone willing to share. So from PCs for People, if there's anything anyone in the room needs, we are honored and happy to help provide computers, information, education, whatever is needed. So thank you, everyone.